if you're new to soap making, or if you have never made soap before and you're overwhelmed by the amount of information that is out there, by the amount of ingredients, oils and butters that you feel like you have to purchase, then this video is for you. This video will prove you that you actually only need 5 oils in order to make soap and other skincare products. And trust me, I've been there. When I started out soap making, I bought a lot of different oils. I bought things like grapeseed oil or pumpkin seed oil that didn't add no extra value into my soap. All they did was to increase rancidity and cost. So today I'm gonna show you the most stable, essential and affordable oils that you can buy. For those of you who are new here, my name is Perry and I have a background in chemical engineering and a master's in biotechnology. I've been working in the biotech industry for the past 5 years and I am obsessed with understanding formulation. I'm obsessed with understanding the why behind things, and I actually transformed my soap making from this to this, and I used to be the person who used to own many different oils. I had shelf full of oils until I understood the formulation behind soap making, and now I basically only use 5 oils and butters and no more than that. And if you want a free PDF that shows you how you can make 6 completely different skincare products, from sensitive skin soap to body soap to dish soap to lip balm to deodorant and so on, with only 7 ingredients, then comment "I want the formulation" and I will send to you as soon as I see your comment. So, very excited for this. Let's get down to this video. So here are the 5 oils and butters that you need to make soap and also other skincare products like lip balm, deodorant, hand cream, conditioner bar and so on. So let's start with olive oil. Now, olive oil is an amazing oil. It's high in oleic acid, and when oleic acid reacts with lye or sodium hydroxide, it converts to sodium oleate, which is the substance that adds gentle and conditioning lather to your soap. And for those of you who are completely new to soap making, you should know that soaps that are high in olive oil are perfect for sensitive and dry skin because they create a very luxurious, gentle conditioning lather. And the most popular soaps in the world, Aleppo soap, Castile soap and Marseille soap, they all have one thing in common, and this is that they are made with a high concentration of olive oil. So olive oil equals conditioning properties to your soap. Second ingredient, castor oil. And castor oil is a very unique ingredient because it's high in ricinoleic acid, and once that reacts with sodium hydroxide, it produces a substance that is very, very good at adding thickness and richness to your lather. Now, castor oil is a very unique oil. I haven't found any other oil with a high concentration of ricinoleic acid. The third ingredient, and this is very important ingredient, it's called coconut oil. Coconut oil is high in lauric and myristic acid. When those react with sodium hydroxide, they produce substances that are very water soluble, and they tend to foam a lot and create a lot of bubbles. And here's the thing, coconut oil in soap equals bubbles and cleansiness. That means if you want a lot of bubbles and cleansiness to your soap, you increase the concentration of coconut oil. If you want a soap that is very cleansing, you can make a soap with 100% coconut oil that you can use for the dishes. But here's the catch. If you have sensitive or dry skin, you might want to minimize coconut oil or eliminate it completely, because coconut oil can really irritate your skin if you have dry and sensitive skin. And now let's go to the last 2 ingredients. These ones are super interesting. They're actually very similar to each other. One of them is shea butter. Shea butter is high in stearic acid and a bit of oleic acid. And the other one is beef tallow. And beef tallow is high in stearic, palmitic and oleic acid. You will see a lot of times that you can use shea butter interchangeably with beef tallow, meaning that you can replace one for the other, but it's not a one-to-one replacement. So they're both high in stearic acid, and stearic acid, once it reacts with lye, adds a lot of creaminess and structure to your soap. But they're structurally different when it comes to palmitic acid. So beef tallow is very high in palmitic acid. It's the reason why it's so long lasting and creates a very stable lather. Beef tallow is also very cheap if you render it yourself, so the cost is almost zero, and that's why it's preferred by a lot of soap makers. Let's just now understand really formulation, and this is very important, guys. Soap Hub will tell you what would you like to make. Would you like to make soap or other skincare? And why is this important? Because your oils and butters in soap behave completely different than they do in other skincare products like lip balms, deodorants, hand creams, and so on. Why is that? Because in soap, you have a chemical reaction. So you have sodium hydroxide, otherwise known as lye, that reacts with your oils and butters to produce soap. While in other skincare products, you don't have a chemical reaction. You have these ingredients existing raw in your product, so no reaction involved. And because of that, you have to treat them completely differently. Let us choose that we want to make a soap that is suitable for sensitive skin. And here the recommendation is that we want to have a high concentration of olive oil, because olive oil is very conditioning and it will add this very luxurious and gentle and conditioning lather. We want to have a bit of shea butter. Shea butter will add creaminess. You can also use beef tallow here if you like to work with beef tallow, because beef tallow also leads to a very, very long-lasting soap because of palmitic acid. Because beef tallow, as you see, has a palmitic acid concentration of 24 to 29%. It has a stearic acid concentration of 12 to 18% and an oleic acid concentration of 43 to 47%. While shea butter is a bit different. It has higher concentration of stearic acid and it doesn't really have that much. It has actually very, very low palmitic acid concentration. That's the good thing about beef tallow, is that it has the palmitic acid that basically makes your whole soap more long lasting. And why is that? It's because palmitic acid, once it reacts with lye, it creates a soap molecule that is not very water soluble. And because it's not very water soluble, then your soap lasts longer. While coconut oil, for example, is very, very, very water soluble, and that's why your soap might not be so long lasting if it has a very high concentration of coconut oil. Let's go back to the sensitive skin soap. You have olive oil, shea butter, a bit of castor oil helps, not too much because it can make your whole formulation too sticky, because castor oil is very thick. And then coconut oil, you can either minimize it or avoid it completely. It's better to avoid it completely if you have very sensitive or dry skin, because coconut oil will dry out your skin. So this is an example of how you can use those 4 oils to make sensitive skin soap. Let's choose dish soap, for example. So dish soap, it's going to be a soap that is very, very, very high in coconut oil, and the rest can be olive oil, shea butter, or even castor oil. I like to make dish soap with 95% coconut oil concentration and 5% castor oil. So only 2 ingredients and you have a dish soap. You have a completely new product. The same with other things like shaving soap, face soap, and so on. So this is an example of how you can use those oils to make a completely new product, and that you don't need more oils. And make sure to comment "I want a formulation" if you want to see how we make 6 completely new skincare products, from lip balm, deodorant, sensitive skin soap, dish soap, normal soap, and so on, with only 7 skincare ingredients. And now let's talk a bit about why the other oils like grapeseed oil, rosehip oil, canola oil, all these other oils that you see online, why they don't really add a lot of value to your soap. So it all has to do with the fatty acid profile. So always, when you want to understand the why behind the ingredients, you look at the fatty acid profile and you will have all the information you need. So here you will see that olive oil is high in oleic acid, and it has a bit of linoleic acid, but not too much. Why is linoleic acid important? If your oil has a high concentration of linoleic acid is a polyunsaturated fat, meaning that it has more than one double bond, and when it has more than one double bonds, it means that it's very unstable. And when it's unstable, it goes rancid in soap. And when it goes rancid, it looks like that. So this is how your soap will look like when it gets rancid and it oxidizes. So basically, linoleic acid concentration leads to oxidation. And then let's see some oils that are very popular but are very, very risky when it comes to rancidity. Rice bran oil, linoleic acid concentration of 15 to 35%. So it has medium risk of rancidity, and honestly, if you're planning to use that, because I know it's very cheap in certain countries, I wouldn't use it in a higher concentration than 10%. So I would just substitute olive oil with rice bran oil, but maximum 10%. Otherwise, you will end up having something with a high risk of rancidity. But we have other oils as well that have medium risk of rancidity, like sweet almond oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil. And then we have some that have very high risk of rancidity, like grapeseed oil, linoleic acid of 69%, like seriously. And not only that, but it's also pricey. Pumpkin seed oil, 45 to 60% linoleic acid. Regular sunflower oil, 60 to 70%. Rosehip oil, 40 to 50%. So all of these, they have this thing in common, that they are very, very prone to oxidation. And when it comes to regular sunflower oil, it's high in linoleic acid, but there is a procedure where you can find sunflower oil that has been treated so that it has a high concentration of oleic acid. You will find that it's called high oleic sunflower oil, and that actually works good. Okay, then you will ask me, what about oils that have low concentration of linoleic acid, high concentration of oleic acid? Why don't I use those? Like olive oil, for example. Olive oil is good, but what about avocado oil or macadamia oil? I hear this all the time. So avocado oil and macadamia oil, they are amazing oils when you see their fatty acid composition and also their nutrient composition. They are high in vitamins and antioxidants. But bear in mind, all these vitamins and antioxidants, they are completely degraded in soap. I'm not talking about other skincare products. I'm not talking about lip balms, deodorants or whatever. They're not degraded. But in soap, you have a high pH, a high temperature. And those environments, they tend to really degrade sensitive compounds like vitamins and antioxidants. So in the end, avocado oil and macadamia oil, they don't add any extra value compared to olive oil. So you just buy something that behaves like olive oil, but costs double the price. That's why it's very important to understand formulation and to understand that soap making environment is different than other environments. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope this video could add some value to you. And if you want to go from someone who just copies recipes to someone who understands formulation and the why behind the ingredients, I have an ebook that basically teaches you just that. How to not only copy recipes, but how to design your own recipes based on your own goals. So it contains 15 tested recipes from body soap, hand soap, sensitive skin soap, dish soap, shampoo, conditioner bar, lip balms, deodorants, and so on, and how to use those exact ingredients here. I've been receiving a lot of great feedback from it, so I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.